and thank you for joining me today. This is the painting we will be painting today. It is a swirly painting with green vines and some weird blue flowers. I'm not quite sure what they are, but I thought they looked pretty. And then I made them within a nice golden border. Let's see how I did this. So I'm starting off with a black canvas. It's already painted black, and I believe this is a 16 by 20, but now I can't quite recall. So I'm doing 1 inch from each side, and I'm putting tape over it because I want to get that border so I don't want any paint touching those edges. Now here I am measuring 1/2 inch out so that way I can put more tape to create a nice border, and I can then paint it that gold color you were seeing. Now here I am coming in with some straight up yellow ochre. But as you will see, I wasn't quite getting the desired effect that I wanted, probably because of the black background, so I ended up grabbing some titanium white, painting over that, and then I would let the white dry before I added probably 2 or 3 layers of the yellow ochre again to really help it pop. After making sure that really dries, I'm doing my oddly favorite part and ripping off that tape to create a nice, even, crisp line. And again, I am going over it with the titanium white, then the yellow ochre to really help it pop against that black. If you're curious what I'm doing with that stick, I'm just making sure that the tape is flat against the canvas so that way my edges can really be crisp and clean. Sadly, my edges were not as crisp as I wanted them to be, so I went in with some regular black and I fixed it up just a little bit. Notice how I'm tearing off 3 of the edges and not the bottom one, because when I go to paint all that green, I'm going to use that as my cutoff so I can freely paint on the tape and not worry about making a mess. Coming in with one of my favorite colors, Sap Green, and also I would grab that white because, again, black background. And yes, I am using Artist Loft because you can still create beautiful pieces with regular craft paint. I did grab a brush with long bristles, and as you can see it's a little banged up, but dipping it in water it gave me no problems. I don't know the dimensions or the length of this brush, it's really old, I'm sorry. I mixed some of my Sap Green and the white to help it stand out, and I'm starting from the very bottom, making sure I'm touching the tape and going up. And I'm just making nice curved lines wherever I feel the brush wants to take me. Now I am making little stems that I know my flowers are going to hang off of. This brush proved to be a bit too thick when it came to some of the edges, so I grabbed a long bristled brush, but one that was just skinnier and smaller, and I was able to go in with a bit more detail so that way my flowers can really hang. Alright, let's create some highlights and some shadows, grabbing that Sap Green, the Thalo Blue, and Titanium White. I am imagining that my light source is to the left just a little bit and probably on top of this plant, but I'm not really focusing too much on the shading because I am about to go in with some leaves. Okay, so for my leaves and my flowers, I'm actually attempting a type of art trick. The idea I got it from was from a artist called Donna Dewberry in her book Essential Guide to Flower and Landscape Paintings. It is 50 decorative one-stroke painting projects. Now, I am not nearly as good as Donna Dewberry, but what I was trying to do is, on this flat brush that you see me using, essentially loading one end up with just Sap Green and the other side up with Thalo Blue, and just doing one stroke and creating a leaf or a flower. So here I am with my flowers. I'm taking the Thalo Blue and the Titanium White, and I'm taking a small angled flat brush, and I'm loading one end up with Titanium White and the other one with Thalo Blue, and the type of flowers that I wanted were stacked, so this is like the first layer of petals for the flowers. Here I'm going back at it with the leaves. I wanted to make sure that the first layer dried, so that way when I went in with the one stroke on the second layer, I wouldn't drag the first one with me. And essentially this is just what I kept doing. I would wait for that layer to dry before I went in with the second layer. And then I knew that if some of my flowers were going to overlap each other, that's why you see kind of on the left there why I skipped a couple stems, because I knew some of my flowers were going to overlap each other and I didn't want to take the paint with me. As I said before, I am not nearly as good as Donna Dewberry. As you can see, I went in with so much Thalo Blue that was just way too dark, so I did end up having to go back, taking some titanium white and a little bit of the Sap Green and painting over it, so it didn't end up being one stroke like it was supposed to be, but you know what? I gave it an honest effort, and I love how it turned out, so whatever. I will definitely be attempting some sort of flower painting again with one stroke because this was super fun, and I feel like that if I can really get this down, I could make so many beautiful designs. Insert a random appearance of my cat, who kept rubbing herself against my easel, but at least she wasn't stepping directly in my paint and creating perfect cat paw prints on my table. I do feel like I should be skipping some of this because really it's just me going by layer through layer and adding more highlights or shadows where I think they need to be because, again, I'm not too good at this one stroke thing, but I promise I will try to get better because it is so fun. Looking at the canvas from this angle, it doesn't quite look like you can see why I'm going over my painting, but being able to be up close to it, I saw that there was a little bit of black still peeking through the green, so I just went over all of it, added some thickness where I thought it needed to be, and of course added some swirls. Okay, here's where we get into the shading and the highlighting, now that I'm almost done with the painting. So as I stated earlier, my light source is a bit to the left and a bit up, so anytime these vines would overlap each other, I would make sure to add a shadow on that bottom vine to kind of help give it a bit more of a realistic feel. So at this point it is just some cleanup. I'm taking some of that black paint and I'm painting where I thought I made a mistake somewhere. Or for example here, I felt like these little stems were way too thick coming out. So I made sure to make them skinnier. Once I am confident that I am done with the plant portion, I am marking out again the 1/2 inch out and putting that piece of tape so that way I can paint the bottom of the border. My favorite part, here it comes. Yes, there it is. Guys, look at this disappointment. Oh, thank God for acrylic. And there's the final product. The black paint has got to dry a little bit, and of course doing a top coat will help that shininess go away. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe for more. Bye!